Alright. Good morning, everyone. This is another video from Bricks and Sticks. And tonight or early in the morning, I actually wanted to do a live build. I'm doing bag number 10 here over in Dungeons and Dragons. But at the same time, I wanted to talk about the Amazon Prime special that just came out for the NHL called NHL Faceoff. And I wanted to give my thoughts on it. I just watched episodes 3, 5, and 6. The reason I watched those is being a Florida Panthers fan. I wanted to go ahead and jump to those episodes. I feel like that's the one I'm going to care about the most. But, probably tomorrow at work I will go back to watch episodes 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, and 4. Anyway, as I've made it known, I'm a pretty big lifelong Florida Panthers fan, and you can see over there at their Stanley C still draped in the Stanley Cup band towel that went for sale after they won the cup. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and give my thoughts on the Amazon special while I build bag number 10 of Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, episode 3 was a lot of fun. It featured Jeremy Swayman and Matthew Tkachuk, and went heavily into the Boston Bruins versus Florida Panthers rematch from 2 playoffs ago, where Florida Panthers upset the Boston Bruins, being the 8th seed. And it was really well done. Gave a lot of insights on behind the scenes. There was obviously there might be a little light spoilers here and there. Just fair warning. There was a couple of scenes where Jeremy Swayman was shown. I think that was their hotel. And funny enough, a hotel in Boston, because if I recall correctly, they wanted to give their home games the vibe as if they were traveling on the road, just because Boston had been struggling at home for whatever it was. It showed them with his family and having a meal after a couple of the games. And Matthew Tkachuk was shown it at his house with his brother Brady and his dad Big Walt. Really funny. Actually, it had some really funny moments, and it's really cool to see the Tkachuk family essentially chirping each other as if they were not family, but it's all friendly banter. But yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun to watch. Especially if you're a Florida Panther fan, you're not gonna want to miss it. Yeah, and it doesn't have a lot of things that you probably haven't seen before, but it does have like clips and voices that is really, that definitely you haven't seen before. And they showed one part where Tkachuk had to drive home from practice while it was raining, and apparently he exclusively takes his golf cart to practice. So he had to drive home from after practice in the rain in his golf cart. So that was a pretty fun thing to see. Yeah, and so episode 3 was focused on game, game, not game, but all 6 games, obviously, um, and seeing what Pasternak's thought on Sam Bennett and saying that he lost respect for the Florida Panthers after Bennett punched Marchand in Game 3. Um, it's things that you don't normally get to see since players usually are pretty tight-lipped, in their press conferences. So this was a kind of a breath of fresh air, to be honest. And I wish it actually showed more of the regular season and not just the playoffs, which is that's I guess that's the gripe that I have on the special that Amazon had. Is I feel like it was too focused on just the playoffs. I mean, when it comes to the Florida Panthers, anyway. Like I said, I haven't seen all the episodes yet, but if that's any indication on all the episodes, then I feel like they should have at least shown more of the regular season, the grinds, the ups and downs, and things like that. But besides that, it was definitely well done, unfiltered. Those that know Paul Maurice at all, the guy swears like a sailor, curses like a sailor, and it's fun to see him uncensored. um, but yeah, so episode 3 goes into a lot of things. As it was neat to see that Jeremy Swayman's dad was there for him. Obviously I'm a Panthers fan. I'm supposed to hate the Boston Bruins, but seeing like behind the scenes like this, it kind of gives more. I don't know. It's kind of weird to say it. Obviously they're human, but it humanizes players. It shows the emotional side of things, and these guys are not robots. Obviously there's ups and downs and everything. There's always a winner and loser. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Hearing Kachuk talk about what happened in 2023 when the first time we played Boston, or actually the second time, but after or before. Yeah, after they won Game 5 in Boston, he talked about going to the beach in Game 6, and now it's something that he regularly does. He goes to the beach, goes in the ocean, goes home, goes back in the pool before he goes to the game, which is crazy to hear, but I can't criticize too much. Matthew's been a tremendous add to the team. Whatever's working for him, he needs to keep doing it. Obviously, the Panthers won the cup, so there's not much more to say besides that. And then I watched episode 5, which it oddly enough on the previews it shows that it's the Edmonton Oilers episode, but I figure how can it be. I don't think it's going to be exclusively Edmonton Oilers. I had a feeling, because if the episode's called Cup or Bust, obviously it's gonna have to involve the other side of that Cup or Bust venture. And I was right. I decided to watch episode 5, and about around the 30-minute mark, wouldn't you know it, the Panthers pop up as expected as they go into the finals. So while episode 5 was definitely heavy on the Edmonton Oilers, there's a healthy amount of Florida Panthers content. And if you are a Panthers fan, I strongly advise you not to miss episode 5. as there's a really cool moment there with Paul Maurice during one of the games against the Rangers. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear it, just go ahead and mute this. But it shows Paul Maurice taking Anthony Stolar's goalie equipment, his pads and blocker and glove, and he talks to his team saying that obviously goalies are, you know, the modern goalie plays the butterfly really well, so they need to take the game and play it upstairs pretty much, above the ice, beneath the crossbar, but really, really, really shows why Paul Maurice is awesome. You know, like, I know when he was first hired, he had a reputation of being a loser, being the losingest coach in the history of the NHL. But funny enough, I was a strong supporter of Paul Maurice when he stepped down from Winnipeg. I wanted Florida to hire him midway through that season and take over for then interim coach Andrew Burnett. But they decided to not make the change, and yeah, that was, you know, they got swept in the second round by Tampa, and that brought the Matthew Tkachuk trade and the Paul Maurice hiring, which I guess all's well that ends well, right? Yeah, episode 5 goes into, you know, like, pretty much Edmonton sizing Florida up, and then it shows Matthew Tkachuk just chilling in his pool, relaxing and stuff. And then it goes into last year's final, or the final from 2 years ago now, where Florida played Vegas. And it was fun to seeing him, you know, getting prep time from Dave DiNapoli, the sports trainer, and talking about, you know, reminiscing about what happened against Vegas, how much Matthew struggled with the broken sternum injury. They're really insightful, and, you know, I encourage you guys to watch it 100%. There were, like, Matthew went into wanting to play game 4, even though he was, for the lack of a better word, broken. He wanted to play just for the culture of the team, which is incredible to hear. They were saying, you know, that Brady was interviewed. You can see it on the special, that Brady was describing how he had to pretty much, I think, if I remember correctly, he had to give him a bear hug from behind just to lift him up off the bed, which is crazy. And, you know, and when he got to the game, they were telling him, you know, you need to move your arm a certain way, and I don't think he was able to do it, but he played anyway for just to be there for his teammates. Again, just amazing, right? I mean, broken sternum. And not to keep it to hockey, just I'm actually here. I don't think it can be seen. I'm building this platform over here for this. This is bag 6 and up for Dungeons and Dragons. I would show you bag number 1 through 5, but I'm actually using it as a support for my phone, and it's holding up my camera. But I'm at this part already for Dungeons and Dragons, and a lot of detail. But anyway, so after game 5, episode 5. Episode 5 actually ends ends at the at the, ends with the game two just ending, and it shows, which I'm pretty sure, if you follow hockey at all, you've probably seen it, that viral clip of Connor McDavid going off on his team saying that they need to dig in right effing now. Um, Again, it's pretty cool, like, um, seeing Connor, who seems just, like, I don't know, camera shy, I guess, or not very outgoing, but showing that he does have plenty of emotion, which I'm sure 100% of the players have plenty of emotion. Um, and going off on his team saying that it's not good enough, this is the Stanley Cup Finals, we need to dig in, that's, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, yeah, cool to see. And then it goes into Florida winning game 3 over in Edmonton. And then the bulk of the episode is Edmonton coming back from down 3-0, climbing back and making it, taking it to game 7. And, interesting enough to see that, the Panthers, the players from the Panthers, they didn't really look panicked. They were just living, in the moment, day by day. They did mention that they had a players-only meeting after Game 6, which I guess is understandable. You blow a 3-0 lead, and you naturally you'd be reeling a little bit. Also, one of the things I like about it, kind of skipped over. One of the things I liked about the series is it showed clips of Pete Blackburn, Jackie Redmond, and Paul Bissonnette, like, talking about stuff. Oh, I just want to PK Subban, and hearing their thoughts on it was really neat. Yeah, obviously, like, a lot of the narrative that was going on with Florida after blowing a 3-0 lead was being the epic choke artist. And I could certainly understand that. And like, full transparency as a fan, after pretty much following the team for 28 years, and wanting something so bad, to see them win a championship, and then the blowout 3-0 lead, it was looking really grim. It's like, a franchise with a history of losing, it's just going to continue losing, and it was never meant to be, which is really just another dynamic that makes the Paul Maurice Florida Panthers fit so seamless, I guess. Paul Maurice was known as just an all-time losingest coach, never won, despite being, making it to the final a couple of times. And I remember fans berating him, not wanting him to be the coach. But he, it's nice to see, all-time losingest coach and a franchise with a history of losing work together and make it, become Stanley Cup champions in the end. Makes it just a wonderful story. So, anyway, to more, and seeing, Edmonton, behind the locker room, Connor McDavid talking to his dad, and after winning Game 4, saying that if Florida's not nervous yet, then they'll definitely be nervous after Game 5 if they win. So it's really nice to see these unfiltered versions of these players. Not holding back or anything like that, just being authentic. Although, if you know a camera is following around you, how authentic can you really be? But I guess that's debatable. Um, but yeah, and then they showed the emotions of the Florida locker room after they lose Game 6, going home for a Game 7. But it's nice. Like, it shows you how far the players and the team, the franchise in general, have gone. They just didn't seem panicked. They were just talking about how, compare it to what they went through against Vegas, where they only won one game, and versus the situation they were in, where one game to win it all. Who wouldn't want that? And one of the recurring themes that all the players talked about is the pressure of it all. That they don't put that all the players put all the pressure on themselves more than what fans and media can imagine. And seeing them so calm, seeing Florida being so calm after blowing a 3-0 lead versus the general fan reaction at the time, stark contrast, and fans don't even. Obviously, we think we can affect the game just by how we cheer, how we talk, and support the team. But at the end of the day, it's up to the players and the fans. I distinctly remember a lot of the fans feeling the pressure of blowing a 3-0 lead, yet the players were so calm and confident, right? And then, so the special goes into Game 7, which was absolutely epic, by the way, regardless if you root for Edmonton or Florida. Definitely, the emotions from period to period, from intermission to intermission. Really great to see. Again, I wish Amazon went more covering, all 82 games and not just the playoffs, but being able to get at least that much was really, really good to see. And some of the interaction behind the bench, really cool. I'm filming this right after I just finished watching it. It's 3 in the morning. Going back to the Boston series after I think it was Game 5, and Boston was winning. Florida had the opportunity to clinch, and when Boston was up 2-0, during one of the commercial breaks, Paul Maurice was going off on the team, and if I repeated what he said, then obviously it would involve a lot of curse words. But yeah, it's just really fun to see the players, coach, staff, etc. in that light. And I do definitely hope that there's more to come here from Amazon, and hopefully it's not just the playoffs. But anyway, back to Game 7. The emotions of it all. After the first intermission, the Panthers locker room was talking about, they had a great period, even though the game ended the period ended 1-1. They felt like they played a great period, and they were confident that going into the next period that they were going to be able to finish the job. And then during the second intermission, they were talking about how they're the best team in the world when it's when the scoring is when it's a low scoring game, and it's true. Florida was tied for first with Winnipeg for goals against all year, and the difference was like a shootout goal, which is it's honestly like shootout is a sham skills competition. They should never decide games, but I understand they don't want to go back to ties. And then I've also one of the now that I'm thinking back on this the series and all that, the Amazon series, maybe the episodes are too short. I wish the episodes were a little longer. That took me way longer to put. I don't know if it's because I'm talking. Yeah, I wish the episodes were longer, because while it provided some insight on the team that you don't normally get to see them at, I feel like it was too short. There's a lot of things that get left out. I wish the episodes were longer. I wish the seasons were longer. But I mean, overall, definitely a fun watch. If you're a Florida Panthers fan, you're not going to miss it. Now, comparing it to the ESPN, where it's strictly just the Florida Panthers, it's their championship video pretty much that every team gets. I'm not going to lie, I feel like I almost prefer the ESPN one. Because each Amazon episode is about 45 minutes. The ESPN one is like an hour and a half. And I like the fact that it covered more. While it didn't show a lot of regular season things, it did at least, like, they showed them starting in Minnesota, talking about how they overcame injuries in the regular season, and then it covers every series, Tampa, Boston, New York, and Edmonton. Not just, if you watch the Amazon special, it only goes through Boston, Vegas, technically Boston twice, because it goes in 2023 Boston series, and then in 2024, and then the Vegas, and then Edmonton. So I feel like it covered way less content, whereas the ESPN one covered more, and they're both unfiltered and fun. Although Amazon definitely had some footage that ESPN didn't have, and a lot of what ESPN showed, you probably already seen. What you didn't. It's more about what you didn't hear versus what you didn't see. But overall, I definitely enjoyed it. If you're a Panthers fan, you're gonna love it. Like I said, don't miss episode 5. Even though it's advertised to be an Edmonton Oilers episode, it's still a very good thing to watch. If you can't stand the Oilers, then watch the beginning and then watch the fast forward to the 30-minute mark. You're not gonna miss. You want to miss that epic Paul Maurice moment. But yeah, I hope you definitely either way don't miss those episodes. they're worth the watch. Um, if you don't have Amazon, password share with someone. They're not like Disney or Netflix where they're, limiting. They're trying to crack down on password sharing. Just try to find some way to do it. Watch it, 100% watch it. And like I said, tomorrow I'm gonna go back and watch the episodes I didn't watch. As tonight I only focus on the Florida Panthers related stuff. But yeah, just wanted to give my thoughts on that. And also, this being my first hockey related video on the channel, I'd be remiss if I didn't send my condolences to the Johnny Gaudreau, not Johnny Gaudreau, but the Gaudreau family and Johnny and his brother. Folks, don't drink and drive. There's very little things I hate more in the world than drinking and driving is right at the top of the list. Just super selfish thing to do. And, as someone that lost, my dad almost a year ago, 11 months ago right now. And it's been a hard thing to get over. In fact, I'm having, a tough time dealing with it currently. I can't even imagine, a dad losing their 2 sons just because someone decided to be selfish. So I send my sincerest condolences to the Gaudreau family. And, it'll be hard for the family to find peace, but I do hope they find comfort and healing over time. I know it's going to be difficult, but yeah, especially for the young kids. I have a young daughter of my own, and I can't imagine something happened to me and my daughter needs me, and I'm sure the brothers, they both have kids, and their family needs them, and they'll never get to have that. It's super sad, super unfortunate. I send my sincerest wishes to them. I hope I don't know what's gonna take, but I hope his parents and family find peace eventually. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. I didn't even get to finish Mag 10. But I will be doing, more hockey videos and live building. Probably instead of doing a recorded video, I'll probably do a live stream next time. But thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you join us in more episodes and more videos here on the channel.